Welcome to episode 157 of Star Wars and Scotch, and we are here to kick off the new year. It's Tim, it's
Happy
Kevin,
New Year.
and it's 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make it to New Year's?
No.
Me neither.
No, I had Tarkov drops on New Year's Day at 6 a.m. So
you were in bed by like 9?
9:30. Yeah.
I think
and then fireworks woke me up at 11:30, and I was pissed.
I think I was awake, but I was in bed already, snuggling my puppy because he was not having a good evening.
No, Lando was freaked out.
Poor Lando. So yeah, Happy New Year, 2024.
Happy New Year.
It's a new year, new Star Wars. If you haven't checked it out, 2 videos I recommend for all you Star Wars fans. Our buddy Alex put out a 2023 Star Wars and a 2024 What to Expect Star Wars video. Go watch them. They're really good. I have an hour left in, what the hell's the book called?
Shit. It's been 2 weeks since I've listened to it. Hold on.
I got it. It's called
Star Wars: The Eye of Darkness.
That's the one. I have an hour left. My wife did not bring her headphones on our road trip to Georgia, so I couldn't listen to it in the car because she cannot handle audiobooks. It's not just Star Wars, it's just audiobooks. She doesn't like audiobooks. Ones that she has no investment in, at least. So I have an hour left, and I will hopefully finish that this week.
Nice.
But we have a few things to talk about. Smile. And I got that tweet, Tim, at 10 p.m.? And I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, I just giggled to myself.
I'm holding it in. You told me to hold it in. Holding it in.
I will unleash your rage and fury all at one shot.
Shit all over this.
All over it. Yeah. So we'll get to that in a bit. But before we go any further, it is a new year, and it is the year of GCX. I'm wearing the hoodie and everything. The hoodie made by Lab 77, might I add. But GCX is this year, 2024, August.
Thank God it's this year.
August
next year.
16th and 17th at the Rose and Shingle Creek in Orlando, Florida. If you'd like to hang out with Tim and I, feel free to purchase your tickets at gcxevent.com. The announcements will come now. We will start a slow roll of announcements leading into a much more announcements in the spring, but things will start happening. You'll see the hotel rooms pop up probably the next month or two. That's a hotel thing, by the way. It has nothing to do with us. We just wait for them to give us the green light to sell the hotel rooms. And if you're a Premier Pass holder, you get access to those rooms first. So if there's certain type of room you want, or you just want to make sure you get yours, because the hotel did sell out last year. Make sure you get your Premier Pass. Make sure you get your hotel rooms all booked. But it's gcxevent.com.
Please don't message Kevin the day before the event going, can I still get a hotel room?
Or the day of last year.
Oh, is that what it was? It was the day of. It wasn't the day before.
Oh, it was both. But it was impressive that people were showing up and not having a place to stay. Like, I'm sorry, you'll have to take your manger and your baby Jesus somewhere else. There's no room at this inn.
There's no room at the inn.
GCXevent.com. What else we got going on here? King's Coast Coffee. That's what Tim and I are drinking this morning.
That's true. I'm drinking our Christmas blend still, and it's delicious.
That's actually what I'm living off of as well, because I'm down to my last bag.
I know it's going to go away very soon. We're going to go into Winter Wave. Winter Waves is okay, but man, Christmas blend is just so good. Like, I got a nice just note of cocoa when I first started sipping on this guy, and so good.
So kingscoastcoffee.com. Did we sell out of cocoa we were close. I didn't even check the stock because I've been off from work. But cocoa is gone. Nope, still there. I don't know how many units are left, but it's not a lot, I'll tell you that much. So if you want the cocoa, you always ask for it after New Year's. It is sitting there on the website right now.
Get it.
So if you'd like to warm your household up. I was enjoying some in front of the lake in Georgia with the kids. So delicious King's Coast coffee. There's also the Darkness 429 blend. You can get Coalition, Dr. Lupo's, Deepwater, Dawn Patrol. You name it, you get it. kingscoastcoffee.com.
Tis true.
Anything going on at Lab? Or we're still in a holding pattern?
I mean, like, we're doing stuff, but it's nothing that people need to worry about.
Is the Evergreen collection up?
Evergreen's still up. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of it being Evergreen, Kevin, is that it's always there.
Shop.lab77.co. Go check out what's going on over there. And I know in a few months there's definitely a drop coming, but I know there's one before that as well. So keep your ears peeled, your ears to the ground. I don't know, whatever it is. Just make sure you're paying attention to Lab 77 and Tim's socials, my socials, their socials. Doesn't matter. You can check them all out, and we'll let you know when stuff's dropping. Because
Yep.
lab77.co or shop.lab77.co.
It all works.
There's not a ton of Star Wars stuff going on in the universe. We did get, I don't know if it's confirmation or whatever, but Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who's doing Acolyte, is going to be in this Rey movie, which is weird because her comment was that Rey is going to be the lead in the movie. But when we talked to Daisy Ridley said that she is not the lead in the movie. So now I'm confused. Is she the lead in the movie? Or is she not the lead in the movie?
I don't know. I don't know. We've already talked about this. I don't want this.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm ready for something else. And the way, like, where we left Daisy, or where we leave with Rey, like, it felt like there was closure. It felt good. Like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Especially after coming out of the fucking Snyder movie. Like, I don't know. I just, like, why do we have to reinvent the wheel again?
Has it ruined all space magic?
No, it hasn't ruined space magic for me. It's just like, why do we keep on trying to reinvent the wheel? And like, that's all that episode 7 through 9 was for me. It was just rehashing of content with slight variations in storytelling. And so nothing felt unique. And I've enjoyed the shows more than anything else lately. And so it's going to have to be a really captivating 2 hours to really lock me in, because I'd much rather watch a 45-minute to an hour show every week than try to get a condensed Star Wars story in 2 hours. I don't think you can tell enough of a story in 2 hours to make it compelling, where you can work with a Disney Plus show and have 8 weeks. You can have 8 hours of storytelling. This is how I feel about it. I'd much rather get more Star Wars shows than a Star Wars movie.
There you have it.
Unless it's going to be like what Dave Filoni's doing, is you build up to a movie with shows, so you get a climax in a cinematic, like an even more cinematic lens than you would on Disney Plus. That I think is fine.
I mean, I'm not going to know what other she did.
We'll have to see what Acolyte looks like once Acolyte comes out, and we see how she treats the IP and kind of leads the story. Then I think we'll have an understanding of what the movie's going to be like, because everyone pretty much has like their signature when it comes to how they produce this stuff. We've noticed that with Mando and with Ahsoka. You know, depending on who's directing it, I know that I'm going to like it or not like it.
Yeah, I mean,
most of the times.
When I look at her resume, I don't really know a lot of what she's done outside of Miss Marvel, and I personally did not enjoy Miss Marvel.
The show?
Yeah,
that was rough.
It didn't.
Kamala's story is a rough one to really like. I don't think it's meant for us.
No, it's not whatsoever.
Kamala's story is 100% a child hero.
I will say this though, with Kamala's story, is in the video game, the latest Avengers game, Kamala's story was phenomenal.
So good. But it had an adult tone to it.
Yeah, so I mean, I can connect with it.
I just don't think I don't think the show delivered.
No, I don't think so either, which, kind of makes me worried about where we're headed with this.
That whole Avengers storyline with her was so good. And her dad? Oh my God, I love her dad.
Wait, she's not doing Acolyte. I messed that up. She's only doing New Jedi Order is what the current working title is.
Oh,
Acolyte.
Well then it's not Acolyte.
No.
Then I can't trust this person.
Yeah, it's Leslie Headland is the one doing Acolyte. I confused them. It's New Jedi Order is the working title for what we're working with, and Daisy Ridley is the only credited person besides Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy and Stephen Knight, which I would think we went over Stephen's credentials when we talked about this. Nothing that I was really familiar with, but the one that stood out for that a lot of people might be excited by is he was the writer on Peaky Blinders on Netflix.
Yeah.
which is I've only watched 2 seasons of it, which was a great show. I saw Serenity and got excited, but it's not that Serenity. So, because
Damn it.
yeah, it's some movie with Matthew McConaughey that I've never heard of.
Love Serenity. The Dragonfly, like the I'm brain farting.
Firefly.
Firefly, no, the Dragonfly. Wrong bug.
No, those. I never read any of them, but watched the movie and the TV show, and it's just some of the best sci-fi. It's a shame we only got 1 season.
I know.
That's the problem I have is like, how do all these good shows get like a season, and then we get bad shows that get like 8 seasons? It doesn't make any sense.
People, because the sheeple don't know what they like.
Like I'm watching Wheel of Time. Well, I've finished season 2 on Amazon Prime, and our friend George is a huge Wheel of Time fan from the books. I've never read any of the books.
I love the book.
So I'm just along for the ride because I don't really know what's happening. And he's saying, it's good. It's not great. It's better than what Rings of Power would be to a Lord of the Rings fan.
But Rings of Power is rough, even for someone who doesn't know all the Lord of the Rings stuff.
It was just bad writing and a whole host of other things. But he was saying that it is a crunched, condensed timeline because, just like Lord of the Rings, you can't really tell a story over 10,000 years in a TV show. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So it has to be told a different way. So again, I'm enjoying it, but I'm someone from the outside looking in. I have no prior knowledge, and it's fun. It's not my favorite fantasy epic ever, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know what to expect from a lot of this stuff that is on the horizon. The other one that's a big question mark for me is Skeleton Crew. I'm just like, I don't know what to expect. I'm not the biggest Jude Law fan either. So
sure.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Only other bit of news for Star Wars that came out. Well, there is 2 pieces. Adam Driver confirmed that he's never coming back to Star Wars, which we've heard before.
Saw that yesterday.
Is never in this situation? Because we've heard.
Yeah, he got lied to. He doesn't like what he was sold as the Kylo Ren story, and what he acted. 2 completely different things from what he said. He said what they told me. He was like, Kylo wasn't supposed to have this redemption arc. He was supposed to be like this really bad guy. Like he's supposed to be like this villain. And like the whole redemption arc in 9, he didn't like. He never okayed that. Like they never like ran it by him or like anything. So yeah, I think he's done with Star Wars. I don't think he wants to be a part of that IP anymore because he doesn't feel like he was treated correctly. He was probably promised a lot, and he was probably promised the Darth Vader role, and he didn't get it.
But even Darth Vader had the redemption arc.
Yeah, but still, Darth Vader, not Anakin, Darth Vader is a very, very scary individual in Star Wars. Kylo Ren is a crybaby. He is a big crybaby. And they gave him the Anakin prequel treatment. They turned him into this crybaby in episode 7, and then like the awkward shirt off scene in 8. And he's like, where you like this whole like trying to turn Rey, and then he turns into like even like and kills his mom, and then he's like conflicted. Like it was just he was all over the place. Like there was no consistency with Kylo Ren. Because we're dealing with 2 individuals. There was no like, it was Kylo Ren and Ben Solo the entire time. Whereas it was more so Ben Solo than anything else. It was like the whole thing was trying to get Kylo to Ben and not just continue to build on Kylo Ren as being like this big bad guy who we get to like see, like we get the closure on 9. Mm-hmm. We didn't get that closure of Kylo Ren because Kylo Ren's transformation happened so fast. It just like immediately, boop, he sees a Force ghost of Han Solo, and then he's good. I don't know. I think he got shit on. I think Kylo Ren is a meme at this point.
Here's my point. Regardless of that and everything you just said, one thing I've learned is never say never. New people take over.
I think Adam Driver is it Driver?
Driver.
I think Adam Driver is listening to. I've listened to his TED Talks on acting, I've learned about his background of being in the military.
Yes.
I think he is a very different type of actor. I think he has a specific role, or he has specific types of roles that he likes to play. Looking at like other roles that he has done, I don't think Kylo Ren is the character for Adam Driver. I think if they were ever to bring Kylo Ren back, it needs to be someone else.
Well,
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think they picked the wrong person.
the only reason he would come back at this point is as a Force ghost.
Yes.
Adam Driver's also the best guest that SNL has had in probably 10 years. Every time he's on,
Fantastic.
he has the best skits.
He's an amazing actor.
He really is.
It's
He really
just
is.
Kylo Ren just got terrible treatment. I like Adam. I think he's great.
I believe it was before Star Wars, but he was on a show my wife watched, which I hated, called Girls. It was on HBO. It was about a bunch of, hipster girls living in Brooklyn. And he played one of the boyfriends. And I remember sitting there when she was like, oh, that's the guy that's going to be in Star Wars, watching him and going like, well, he's a good actor amongst this sea of horrendous bullshit. I really admired him. And then, watching his career, we almost watched, is it 65, the dinosaur movie with him? Where it's like the past. He's like the spaceship. It just hit Netflix. We almost watched it like 2 nights ago. My point being is this. And I'll use wrestling because it's the easiest low hanging fruit for me when it comes to comebacks. Is remember Bret Hart? He got screwed by Vince McMahon out of the title, that whole thing. He came back. He made amends. You got CM Punk, who just showed up again a few weeks ago. That guy sued WWE and still managed to come back.
Showed up again.
Well, Rock comes in and out. He's still buddy with them.
Yeah, but I feel like all the old timers are gonna be coming back because Vince is gone.
Oh yeah, Vince. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but it also helps that their buddy is in charge.
Yeah,
Triple H. But point is, fences can be mended, things can change. I'm sure Adam worked with a bunch of different people that are worked on those movies than who will be there in the next 5, 10, 20 years, whatever it may be. So, and if he did come back, like I said, it would be as a Force ghost or a flashback. We're not talking about a starring role. So to keep continuity, if they threw enough money at him to go work for, filming a few scenes, I don't think it's out of the question. That's my point.
Yeah, I think currently right now in this moment in time, it's probably still a sore subject.
Of course.
It might take a little bit of time for it to.
John Boyega said the same thing, and now he said he's open to coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's just going to take time.
And keep in mind, John Boyega got it way worse than Adam Driver did. A, because he's black, which was absolutely and utterly ridiculous.
Yep.
And B, because he people didn't like the way his character was written, and I agree with those people. But that's not John Boyega's fault.
Yep.
Just like it wasn't Ahmed Best's fault. By the way, Ahmed Best did get a standing ovation at Celebration that somehow I missed, so someone responded to it. Because, when we watch Celebration, it gets to the parts that you and I really are like, nah, I'm not going to watch this. Happened during one of those. I watched it. Somehow it never made it on my feed. So thank you, person who pointed that out. And it made me very happy to see. But yeah, he could come back. That's my point. Like, yeah, you're officially done with Star Wars, but, you can come back. Even Daisy Ridley said she was messed up from her experience with Star Wars for a while. So money talks. And if Adam Driver is the type of actor that we think he is, where he really doesn't care about the money at this point, he just wants to play certain roles and he wants to, be a certain type of character, I'm sure there's a way they can work with him to make sure that he's getting his edification that he wants and what he wants out of it. And, the franchise gets what it needs. So
yeah,
I don't think it's the end. I think it's raw and he's probably still upset about it, but I don't think it's the end. And I'm sure when you go in and you sign up for a role, like you said, the Darth Vader-esque role, and then you see how it's written and played back, yeah, you're going to be a consummate professional and finish your contract with them, but at the same time, you're not going to like it.
Yeah, you also don't want to piss off the mouse too much.
Look at David Ayers with Suicide Squad. Once I watched that interview with him, oh my God, I felt so bad for him that he has 45 minutes of footage that is not in that movie. And the movie was cut and edited in a way that he did not want it cut and edited, but the executive said, like, no, this is what we want.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. So, point being, anything can change, anything can happen in the future. We'll see where this all leads. But I don't blame him at the end of the day. Like,
Nope.
I really don't. One more piece of news before we hop into the meat of today's conversation, and that is Star Wars Outlaws. There was a press release on from Ubisoft, and it said Star Wars Outlaws coming late 2024.
Wait.
They amended the press release to say 2024.
Oh. Huh. I wonder if that means we'll get like a summer release.
Which is interesting, right?
It is very interesting.
So the original press release was 2024 or late 2024. Now it's just 2024.
What does that mean?
Don't know. No one really. Ubisoft said to Kotaku the timing was incorrect and has since been amended. That's according to Game Informer.
I wonder if that means we're just going to get like a summer release.
That would be
When is
nice.
the next? Okay, so it's January. It's January. What's the next big reveal event coming up? What's happening in Star Wars land where we could potentially tie the release date of that video game in with something else?
The things that are coming this year is Star Wars Hunters, lol.
That's never going to come out.
New episodes of Young Jedi Adventures. More High Republic novels and comics. Darth Vader comics. New Bounty Hunter comics. Skeleton Crew. Dark Forces Remastered. Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Outlaws is on the list. Final season of Bad Batch. Acolyte. That's it.
When does Acolyte come out?
Acolyte is summer.
An interesting time to release, like right before.
Nope, just says 2024 still. Doesn't have a release. When is the Fox? When do they do the meetings? I know D20
the
is
shareholder. When's the shareholder? When's Ubisoft shareholder meeting?
Disney has not scheduled theirs for 2024.
No, but Ubisoft.
I'm going to Ubisoft now. Ubisoft. They have not updated theirs. They just have September was their last one, so they're probably due for one in the next 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Depending on how often they meet, my assumption would be every 6 months.
So I wonder if they would give any hints. Usually that's when we would get a hint is during the shareholder meeting.
Their annual general meeting was in July of last year.
Yeah, I would assume we'd get.
No, it was in July 2 years ago. It was in September. They only meet once a year, so we may not get that till later this year.
Huh.
I found the schedule. Right. I don't know. Disney does they have the shareholder release meeting, though, where they release everything. That's when all the Fox stuff, everything gets, updates on new contracts and stuff. So it could be then. There could be. When did Ubisoft do their? Did they do a showcase last year at all? I remember them doing one where they showed Outlaws, but that was towards the end of the year.
No, but they definitely didn't they show it during Ubiplay or Uplay or whatever the heck they call it.
I think so, and that was over the summer.
Looking, let's see. Star Wars Outlaws. Let's see. When were all these written? Oh, these are all.
I don't know.
Oh well. All right. Well,
nothing has release dates. That's the problem. So it's really hard to speculate.
It's super weird.
Yeah, nothing has release dates, which is pretty interesting. Oh well. Well,
dude, I get a video that says Star Wars Outlaws has a huge open world gameplay problem to solve. It's like, how do you know that? How can you make that assumption?
Clickbait articles.
God, I just
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in just a moment, and we're going to unleash the fury of Darkness 429. Not Tim. You're getting the character, not the person for this one, so I'm preparing you. We'll be back in just a minute. And we are back.
Hey.
With Darkness 429, not Tim.
Still me. Don't worry, it's Tim.
I'm going to let you go first because...
What a shit show of a movie.
You need to get this out.
Okay, did Zack Snyder did he just copy everyone's movies? Like we opened up literally with Star Wars. At some point we were in Avatar. Oh my
Warhammer.
God. Oh, there was Warhammer. There's fucking space Nazis. Like they're not even didn't even try to change it. They're literally just Nazis, and the head admiral likes to fuck tentacle monsters. Like, what is going on in this movie? I just don't understand. Visually, not even impressive. There was moments where it was like, man, that looks really good. And then they would cut to a person up against a green screen. You're like, that looks like ass. Like visually, I don't think there was enough. Like it's like, I don't understand why they thought, like anyone thinks that a shallow depth of field that makes your entire screen blurry and then also put a warp effect on it. How is that art? That just makes my eyes hurt and it makes me nauseous. That was one of my biggest complaints in the hour that I spent watching this movie. I didn't even finish it. Didn't even finish this thing. In the time that we were there, we open up with the mother world and we learn about the slain king and like all that stuff. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Warhammer-esque. Like, all right, neat. And then we learn about the rebels that are out in the outer reaches of space, the outer rim. The rebellion is starting, the whispers of the rebellion's happening. And then we end up on space. We go to space Norway, and there's Vikings there. They have longhouses, they have beards, they like to fuck. They're farmers. They don't have any technology because they believe in the spiritual connection to the land. Okay, neat. And then space Nazis show up and they're like, "We're hungry. We need to eat." You guys don't have any type of futuristic materials or components or machines or anything that can make you food. You have to go to some backwater, desolate planet and ask them for grain. Like they just showed up just to show up. Like there was no rhyme or reason for them to be there. I thought I don't even remember her name, the main hero. Like I didn't find anything interesting about her until the first big action scene. And spoilers, again, sorry if you haven't watched it yet. I'm saving you time. She opens up with this like massive like killing spree. She kills a bunch of people, and like then I was like, oh, that's neat. I want to know more about her. But then it's like it felt like I was watching. Have you ever read the Dark Tower series, Kevin?
Never read it. I saw the shitty movie.
That movie was shit, so that's why I didn't even bring it up. But Roland Deschain, the main character, he is a gunslinger.
Yep. But
he's a gunslinger in a world where it's like Western meets King Arthur. So like they're knights, but they're gunslingers instead of people in armor with swords. And like that's the vibe that I was like, she's a Jedi gunslinger. So it's just like that even that to me wasn't like interesting. Visually the gunfights were cool. I loved watching the plasma like hit the wall and like melt down. But I also don't understand, why did everything have to be in slow motion? Why did everything have to be slowed down? So I have to get what took 30 seconds took 5 minutes to get through.
That's Zack Snyder, and the problem with that is it's dated at this point, and it's the meme that there's I have two feelings on that. One, you're right, it happened way too much, and two, if you're going into a Zack Snyder movie, you got to know what's going to happen. But Zack needs to understand, like, you can't do this for 30 years and expect us to. It was cool when I saw Sucker Punch back in whenever that came out when I was younger.
It looked like Fight Club. Like, I mean, like that was like the first time we ever saw like slow down, like fast FPS, like someone getting punched and you watch like spit in their jaw, like and all that stuff. Like that was cool.
My problem is we haven't grown from when did Sucker Punch come out? Now you've seen Sucker Punch, right?
Probably.
The movie with
2011. With the kids, right?
With the hot girls.
Yes.
Yeah, that movie. So where they're the heroes in the fantasy dream world thing with all the
Yes,
craziness.
I have seen. Yeah. It's very steampunky.
Love that movie. It's
Yep.
such a good movie. The problem is I see no growth as a filmmaker from 2011 to 2023 in Rebel Moon. That's my issue. Everything you said is 100% true.
I can keep going.
We will keep going. Like you said, there's lots of borrowed elements, but they're not borrowed well.
No, like, okay, so here's an example of when we get to Dances with Wolves, Fern Gully, Avatar part.
Yep.
When they go to the Western scene, when we go to the ranch, and she's collecting the gang, she's getting all of her friends together to go fight the big bad guy, and we get to the guy who's a Native American. I felt like I was in Dances with Wolves, or Avatar, like that moment of him getting on the hippogriff, because that totally looked like Buckbeak from Harry Potter.
Also, he bowed to it.
He bowed to. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking hippogriff. It's a hippogriff / banshee, because that's what happened in Avatar 2. They had to make the Zahelu and the bond between the rider and the banshee, and that's what with that entire thing was supposed to be like the breaking of like in the Western sense, that would have been trying to tame a black stallion. You know, a Mustang, a black Mustang. They're wild, they're aggressive, they're a very intense animal, and that entire thing was like, it was wasteful. It was wasteful of my time. I love the whole part of like, let's show them that we're more than our bonds and things like that. I was like, that was really cool. I love that entire part where he was speaking in like his native tongue to the thing. Like, again, very Dances with Wolves. I would assume that would be like an Indian dialect talking to a horse, like his spirit brother, like that kind of shit was cool. But again, at the same time, I've seen it before, and it didn't make sense. It was a roller coaster. Like it was a car accident. I was like going, and I was like, all right, okay, we're going along, and then bam, I hit a wall, and I was like, holy shit, what just happened? And then he's riding the hippogriff, and they're having like this whole moment of like battling each other, and then they're best friends, and then he leaves it. And then it gets revenge on the stupid prospector or whatever he was, and then we left it. What was the whole point? So lost.
The story was written in a way like I was supposed to know the universe already.
That's how it felt. Nothing was explained,
and it wasn't good writing. There were so many parts. I was like, oh my god, that was delivered terribly, or that's just bad writing, or that felt lazy.
Sex being used as a
let's make this edgy.
Yeah, like It wasn't. They weren't even using sex to drive a point. They weren't trying to push the story in any direction.
Yep.
There was just sex for sex, like the whole rape scene, or they were trying to get like they were going to rape this girl. Like that made me uncomfortable. I didn't like that.
And it didn't make you uncomfortable in a way like in Game of Thrones where there was justice served.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones did it, and we're talking earlier Game of Thrones, did it very well because, what's his name? Who's the crazy son who takes over Winterfell?
Yeah.
With the wolves.
Shit.
Him, when he rapes Sansa.
Uh-huh.
That's one of the most uncomfortable things you will ever watch in the history.
Extremely uncomfortable.
And they don't even show it. They pan to the credits.
Mm-hmm. And then something good happens with that. And it's just like it came, like it turned her into the person that she became.
And we also get, your sweet justice is the revenge at the end of the final season, even though it's not the best ending of the show. His death was one of the most justified, I would say, next to Joffrey. They had the two like, yes, that felt, but they also made you wait for it. You didn't get it immediately. You had to suffer through it along with the character to get to the character development that Tim's talking about right now. And then you got your justice. In this situation, it was a dumbass plot device that was over like that. Also, her gun Jedi thing that you said, Cora is her name, by the way. Have you ever seen Equilibrium with Taye Diggs and Christian Bale?
God, that sounds familiar.
It's like a 21-year-old movie. They have the thing called gun kata where they're like, it's a gun style of like ninja shooting type thing. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite movies, to be honest. Post-apocalyptic.
Oh, I've seen this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's kind of Neo-esque in a way.
Hi. There's your gun situation that you're describing. So again, borrowed elements. not really good homages, like you said, because even if the hippogriff scene was an homage to Harry Potter, it wasn't done well.
It's done like shit. Like just nothing. It
Like
didn't
you
feel
said,
good.
you mentioned the one planet was Bespin. You couldn't be more right.
Oh my god, the Cobalt. Okay, so after we get our sidekick Beastmaster, we end up going to a Cobalt mining planet. I was like, all right, let's see what happens. Immediately, the first thing I notice is the color grading. The color grading that they use for the skybox is the same color grading as Bespin. Immediately, that orange pink color, because it's a mining planet and like the air is being like polluted and like all that stuff. Like, okay, but I've seen this before. Like, it was immediately Bespin. That is the moment I turned it off. I said, "That's Bespin. Fuck this." I turned it off. Amy was sitting right next to me.
And you didn't even see that part. There's like a whole spider person thing, which was native to the planet because they were mining there. It's this whole thing. That's when you meet Nemesis. Nemesis is the one with the Ronin hat. And she's the one who has the, I'm using air quotes, lightsabers. So you would have just gotten more angry in the next 10 minutes. My biggest issue with so you didn't even meet General Titus then, did you?
No, they went to that planet to find him. Her?
No, they find Nemesis, and then the next planet's like the Roman gladiatorial planet.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I didn't
and
get
that's
that
where
far.
you meet General Titus.
I got to the part where they went to the Japanese Western planet, which again, okay, so that part when the bounty hunter droid like grabbed the guy, sick. That was really neat. But everything, that entire scene, it was Western with Japanese thrown on top of it. Like, you couldn't copy Star Wars any more than you could in that very moment. They walk into this fucking bar, and it's literally, I said, oh, we're going to go find Han Solo now. We found Han Solo.
Can I give you
Literally,
the spoiler, though?
the guy in the fucking bar is the pilot.
Do you want the spoiler, though?
The guy who shoots the alien who wanted to boink her friend,
Kai.
which again, another awkward scene where he walks up, just grabs him by the junk and goes, I'll make you beg for more. Like, that was awkward. It was just weird. Anyways, you walk into the saloon, you know it's going to be a shootout, but that's the exact same. It was the exact same feeling of when Luke and 3PO and Obi-Wan and R2-D2 walk into the bar at Mos Eisley. It was the exact same setup. The shots were close. Like, when they walk in through the door, the shot was almost one for one. The people at the bar, like, she has that encounter with the dude who wants to have sex with her friend. Like, I thought she was going to cut his arm off. That's what I was waiting for, because it was literally the exact same setup of like, my friend says he doesn't like you. I don't like you either. You know, like, that was the same setup. It was like Zack Snyder just watched back all of Star Wars and was like, I like that.
No,
that's
he
nice.
wrote a Star
like
Wars
that.
movie. This is the
I like
problem.
this.
He wrote
No, but the problem is, Kevin, again, okay, sure, it's a Star Wars movie, but nothing about this felt unique. It literally was, I'm going to take Star Wars, I'm going to compress it into this thing, and I'm going to give it a new paint coat. And that's it. I don't understand how he could feel good about what he created when it literally feels like he copied someone's homework. Nothing about that feels great.
The bad guys felt like you took the Empire.
Oh, the
and
space Nazis?
But you just made them the Astra Militarum from 40K.
Yes.
That's it. That's all they did. And kind of to bring this home and wrap it up, it was again, they used the video game formula that Tim and I described from Star Wars in the past, like for Mandalorian. Gather a party, go forth, complete mission. Can I give I can say spoilers, right? You don't care at this point?
I don't give a shit. I'm not going to watch it.
So Kai ends up being the bad guy, who sells them out to the what are the mother worlds? Is that what it's called?
Kai, the guy from the Viking planet?
Han Solo.
Oh, the flyer. That's the GIF where is that GIF? Is that from the ending?
Yeah, where he's blowing the kiss. He's blowing the kiss.
He's blowing the kiss?
Because those droids that you like that grab people and hold them in.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah, that's what they're all stuck in at the end. But essentially, we gather this party. One of them's the traitor. You meet the Blood Axes. The Blood Axes actually looked really cool. I'll give them that. And again, there's elements throughout the show that I was like, that looks cool. That's but a lot of what you said, I can tell that's a green screen. I can tell that's a volume. That.
But it didn't even
like
try to
this.
hide it. There was no smoke and mirror in trying to make it look better. And that was another thing that really pissed me off, is that whenever they put a person inside their 3D generated world, there was no sense of care to try to blend them in. Back to the hippogriff scene. Every time they shot to the actor, it looked like ass. You could tell that the background behind him was generated.
Yeah, no, I noticed that a lot, and
Frustrating.
Again, this is what I mentioned with the growth with Sucker Punch. In 2011, that was acceptable because of where we were at with technology. Am I wrong? Like that was
that.
Yeah,
that
was
that
in
was
2011.
Yes, that was the benchmark.
It's been raised since then, and it doesn't look like Zack Snyder wants to go with keep up with the times. So, did you watch Bright when it was on Netflix, the Will Smith cop fantasy movie?
Yes, I did.
I felt the same exact way, but I actually almost felt Bright did a better job.
I like Bright. I thought it was okay. I really wish there was closure.
Bright was in a universe I was excited because they were like, we're going to franchise this. We're going to make this a thing. Modern day Lord of the Rings, essentially, right? That's what they were trying to make it.
Yeah.
And the movie was bad. The writing was bad. The acting was not great. But there was
Will Smith playing Will Smith.
There was a core element in that where there was a universe you could build on because it was such an interesting concept.
Yeah, the whole like modern day Fae stuff. Very cool.
It was essentially Lord of the Rings, but in our world. That's what it was. And bringing back the Dark Lord. Hi, Sauron. Things like that. But this didn't even do that for me. Like, I will watch part 2 once just to keep the story going. This is not a movie I'm going to go back to over and over again. It's not like Star Wars. I'm watching Lord of the Rings again with Danielle for probably the 150th time. We started during the holidays. I'm in the middle of the Hobbit series. And I can accept bad movies in a franchise. I do it with Attack of the Clones. I do it with Phantom Menace. I can accept it with Lord of the Rings. I've done it with Rings of Power. I've done it with some of the parts in the Hobbit movies. I can accept that. This is a horrendous start to what could have been an excellent new franchise. And like Tim keeps saying over and over again, the common theme is it's trying too hard to not be Star Wars while mimicking everything about Star Wars, taking from Warhammer. There was some Dune in there. I mean, we could go on and on. I mentioned Equilibrium. And it's Zack Snyder not adapting. That's my biggest complaint.
I'm okay. Like I'm totally fine with someone taking an IP and running with it and trying to make it better. I think competition is very healthy, especially for an IP like Star Wars, where it's been around for such a long period of time. They're just like it needs competition. I think that's fine. The problem is when it feels like you just watch someone copy somebody else's stuff. There's nothing unique about this where it was like, damn, that was really cool.
I never got grabbed into the world. I really never was ushered in. And, again, it felt like I was already supposed to know what the hell was going on. And that was probably the most alarming part for me. It's like, I don't know this universe yet. And everything was rushed. Everything felt like it needed to be stretched out more if there was a story to tell there. And, I think that's also why the sexual overtones that you keep mentioning and some of the other quote unquote edgy stuff they did keep popping up, because there's no character development to get you to a point where that is okay and that's acceptable. Or, you don't know anything about this Gunner guy. You think he has a crush on Cora, but what if he is gay and he wants to, go upstairs and have a romp with scarred face guy? Who knows? I don't know this. I don't know this character. I haven't been introduced to him. There's no background. There's no backstory.
That was like in like the Admiral when you cut to him in his chambers and he's doing like he's vape penning, but he's doing it in his side. I was like, okay. And then he's naked, and then you see the tentacles in the back, and then it's just like it starts choking him, and he's like, ooh. And it's just like even that, there was no indicators leading up to that moment that we would find him in that state. There was nothing to prepare you. It was constant. It was constantly going back and forth, and it was whiplash. I think that's the best way to explain the feeling of what I experienced when I watched that, it was whiplash. It was just going from one thing, wham, right into the next without any lead up or softening or anything that is what I would consider to be good storytelling of being able to transition from one thing to the next. And to your point, Kevin, like we are supposed to know so much about these characters already. We know that the main character crash lands on that Viking planet at some point and is saved by that father figure, but there was not enough that was told about her. Like at some point that makes me feel like she is Superman.
Yeah.
She came falling down in a pod. Holy shit, it is Superman. Oh my God. She crash lands in a pod. This guy, a farmer, finds her. He finds the gun in her pod and holds on to it just like Cal's the mom and dad. They take the chip. They take the video of his dad, of Superman's dad, and then gives it to him later when he's older. Oh my God! He ripped Superman too, this motherfucker!
Well, he did direct Superman, so.
Oh my God!
Wait, no, he did.
No, he did.
That was Christopher Nolan, wasn't it?
That was Nolan.
Who did Man of Steel? Yeah, that was Christopher Nolan. He did Justice League.
I'm so mad.
Did he do Batman? I don't think Batman vs Superman was him.
Oh,
My point
what a
being,
shitty movie.
My point being is that we needed so much more than what we got to really flesh this out, and it just at that point it just looks like it is Zack Snyder on Batman vs Superman. Man, I hated that movie too.
That was a terrible movie. That was a horrible movie.
Everyone was named Lois in that movie. Or was it Martha? Martha was the, not Lois, Martha. It could have been something. I think they shit the bed. I don't think it's going to work out the way they anticipated. I think it's going to be another Netflix flop. I think we'll get part 2, and that'll probably be the end of it. They'll release a director's cut, and I don't think we'll see anything else from this universe. It really is unfortunate because I think when you peel back the onion, there is something there, but it's just too many borrowed elements from stuff that we know. I will say this, like the end with Admiral Atticus, he gets killed, but the way they bring him back to life is so Warhammer, and I actually think you would have really liked that part.
What, do they Necron him?
No, they kind of, so he gets Korra kills him in a fight on this planet. I forget the name of it. It looks like it looks like the planet where they encounter from Rebel 1, where they encounter her father. It looked just like that planet. I forget the name of it.
Oh, the rainy dark planet.
No, not in the beginning. The one at the end where he's
That's what I'm saying. Like where he's on the bridge and he gets shot by the sniper.
It reminded me a lot of that planet.
Yeah, it was really rocky and dark and rainy.
So he gets killed, and then they find his body in the wreckage and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and they hook him up to all these tubes. Remember, he had those like little circles on him where he was.
Yes.
They hook up all these tubes up to him with red and blue things, and they're like not shocking him, but like bringing him back. And the way they're dressed is very like they look like psychics almost from Warhammer 40K.
Oh, are these the artificers that were walking behind him when they went to the Viking planet?
Similar, but not like that. Like very much in that vein, but not those people. They get killed too, by the way. So they do that. They hook him up, and there's all this thing, and he's being like, they're like trying to bring him back, and they're doing all these things, and then they have to actually go into his brain, and he has to go some sort of psychic link and meet with the he's not the emperor, whatever the guy is, Balisarius, her dad. And they meet on this like psychic link planet ice thing with fish swimming. That was pretty interesting. But again, looked just like a green screen. There was no definition or reality imparted to it. And then he's like brought back to life after that using this whole hookup. I think you would have liked the visual of it. And that's kind of how they ended it. So
sick.
I'll watch part 2, but again, this is a one-time shot for me. I was not impressed. It's a shame because there's so many good actors in it too. It's just, I don't know. I really wish.
It's It's an hour I won't get back, and I'm sad.
Yeah. Cyborg was one of the Blood Axes, by the way, Ray Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was one of the Blood Axes. He was the leader.
That's cool.
Who also gets killed.
Oh.
In the most Zack Snyder way you could possibly get killed. They have this turret, and it's shooting down on the platform. So he grabs a spear, runs up this thing while he's getting shot, and does the classic Wonder Woman. But he misses the first time. That's the funny part. Gets shot by the guy and then stabs him while he's up there. So
Sick.
it was very Zack Snyder. Yeah, I have a feeling Zack Snyder is losing his touch. That's I'm not a huge Zack Snyder hater. I really enjoyed, like I said, I love Sucker Punch. It's one of my favorites. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I don't really care. I like the Justice League Snyder cut. It's not one of my favorites, but it definitely made it more enjoyable and made those characters come to life a little bit more. But this showed me that maybe he's not there anymore.
It's just not. I have no faith in the Rebel Moon IP. There's nothing compelling about it. They're gonna make books and comics and video games and all that shit. Like maybe the writers will be better, but it is not. It is not starting out on a good foot. That's for sure.
You would need other folks to come in and let Zach be the Dave Filoni of the universe, not making the shows or the movies. That's the only way this works. And he's a control freak, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, after part 2, it's dead in the water.
Probably.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it got ripped to shreds online, so like I don't think it has.
And I usually don't go by that because even one of my justifications for saying, hey, I might like this was the fact that Sucker Punch got ripped apart online, but the fan score is really high.
Yeah, but it got ripped apart by Star Wars fans, like people that I trust. That's the thing is like usually if a movie comes out and people that I go to for reviews on certain things that I have come to agree on, and I'm like, oh, we kind of have like the same mindset when it comes to movies and shows and stuff. And they're shitting on it, I know I'm not going to have a good time.
My first red flag was the morning after it came out. Eric Faucius.
Yep.
He was like, I tried. I really didn't like it. And I was like, oh, no. Me and him usually agree on this stuff. This is not good. And then I saw more people saying it. I was like, But then I waited a week after I got back from vacation. I said, all right, I'm going to go in this with zero expectations. Like, in my mind, it sucks going in. And usually you can find good things when you do that. Nope, couldn't do it.
Couldn't find a single thing other than the gunfight in the barn. I couldn't find a single thing where I was like, that is cool.
There was moments, but nothing that really stands out like to a degree that I'm going to sit here and defend it or talk about it. It's just is what it is.
Yep.
End of story.
All right.
That's going to do it for us. That's our opinion on Rebel Moon. We will not be covering part 2. You can watch it if you want, but it dies with this episode on Star Wars and Scotch. It's unfortunate because I really thought we would maybe have a new IP to discuss. But
yeah, you were kind of pumped for it. And we were like, all right, well, during our downtime, we'll talk about Rebel Moon.
Well, we talked about it, and that's all you're getting.
We talked about it, and so I guess we're gonna be checking. You're gonna finish your book, and maybe we'll start working on the comic books because they dropped 2 new comic books today.
Which ones?
There's a Darth Vader comic book, and then a High Republic with Markion on the front with lightsaber.
Yeah, let's talk off the podcast, and
let's talk off stream, Kevin.
God, hi chat, and we'll figure that out. But you all have a great one. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you head over to Tim's Twitch channel or YouTube channel. They're both Darkness429. You could also follow him on all his socials at Darkness429. He's playing Escape from Tarkov again. Let me repeat. He's playing Escape from Tarkov again. If you didn't know this, Tim is playing Escape from Tarkov. He likes it. He keeps tweeting about it.
It's in a good place.
I almost crapped my pants when I was on Twitter and Lupa was like, I'm going to say this, but Tarkov is in the best state it's ever been. I was like, what?
It really is.
I downloaded it because he said that. So
yeah, it's in a great place.
Darkness429 everywhere on the internet, streaming most days. Seems like Sunday is pretty much your day off at this point, right?
Saturday and Sunday still hold true to being the day off. Sometimes I'm on there, but most of the times I'm off.
So like 9, 10 a.m. Eastern. On Wednesdays, it's more like 10. Every other day, it's 9. Or 6 if there's drops.
If there's drops, yep.
So Darkness429 everywhere on the internet.
You're streaming. Are you still multi-streaming, or are you just doing Twitch?
YouTube and Twitch. I'm still on YouTube. Yep.
There we
And
go. Okay.
I started Once Human yesterday, and I'm gonna dive
Nice.
into it
Okay.
again.
So if you are an addict like some of our friends when it comes to Once Human, head on over to KMagic 101 on Twitch and on YouTube, and you can watch him build. Grind. What are you doing in Once Human?
Honestly, I'm not doing the quest. I'm just building a base because it's fun.
Gotcha. So you're playing Minecraft right now.
Essentially, I'm playing adult Minecraft, and I've built a very long house that everyone keeps making fun of because I didn't know when I first went to build it in the area that the terrain would be an issue. So now we're working around the terrain.
Yes.
But I have really nice neighbors. The guy on his motorcycle, he drives by, he beeps and waves to me as he's driving by.
Beep, beep.
It's really fun. So
it's like you live in a little community.
That's exactly what it feels like. But to our left is like a base with a bunch of zombie dead things. So it's just a very interesting dynamic.
All right.
So yeah. And we're Star Wars and Scotch. You can follow us everywhere. Star Wars Scotch. Rate, review, subscribe. Thank you all for all the kind words as we left 2023 and head into 2024. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week with a new episode. We'll be covering Eye of Darkness. I will finish it. I will. Even if I have to stay up late on Tuesday night, I will finish it. And we will go from there with the comic books and whatever other Star Wars news comes our way. You have a great one. And as always, Tim.
May the Force be with you.
And an extra force for you.
Just not with Rebel Moon. Fuck that movie.